Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Everybody Eat Show. We were on break for a little bit, but we are back. We did not forget about you guys. So, life happens, right? So we had a lot of life, a lot of meeting people, going here, going there, but everything kind of just ends up relating back to the podcast because usually anytime we take a break, we end up networking. So here we are. Right. So part of that networking led us to RHouse, right? So shout outs to Manuel Perez, right? So he's the one who kind of just sent that alley. So shout outs to him, and we're looking forward to learn more about you, learn about what you guys do. So before we get any further, if you're first time listener, I almost forgot the intros, right? If you're a first time listener, make sure it's been a while, right? Make sure you're following us on all platforms. Everybody Eat Show on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Everybody Eat Show. Make sure you're following us. We're posting again, right, on Instagram. So Instagram, TikTok, that's where you see all our video clips and all that stuff. So make sure you're following us, sharing all that good stuff.
And if you aren't subscribed to our YouTube or following us on Instagram, please do that. We just dropped our credit correction course. So go check it out with our boy Aaron Sean Hernandez. It's a really good, informative episode. So definitely check that out.
For sure. All right. So today's episode 86. Let's get into it. So if you could introduce yourself, who are you? What do you do? And then we'll get started talking about what is our house.
Absolutely. Thanks again thanks so much for inviting me onto the show today. I'm super excited to be here. I'm River Fields. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm a sophomore at Wharton studying finance, minor in computer science. I'm a member of the blockchain club there, Penn Blockchain. I'm a former researcher and now in the investment committee there. In terms of RHouse is a project I started, co-founded with my brother this summer. It's a community built for Black technologists and their allies passionate about launching ambitious startups, both Web 3 and Web 2. So we aim to build a distributed network of hacker houses and major tech hubs throughout the nation. So New York, LA, Tulsa, DC, etc. Throughout the world, Lagos, London, and then introduce a venture arm to support some of the best startups coming out of these houses.
Got it. Okay. So for those who don't have any background in tech, don't know what a hacker house is, they don't know what Web3 is, what exactly is going on here, and kind of like what was the vision, like what was the original vision, and like what is actually happening like in the hacker house.
For sure. So kind of breaking some of those things down for a little bit. So a hacker house, simply a group of people come together, coders, engineers, creators, designers, like UI, UX designers, etc., come together. They live together, work together, and launch cool startups. So the first one that we launched from July 11th to August 5th, we brought together a cohort of 13 engineers, founders, creators to live together, work together, and execute on some pretty cool startup ideas. So during the days they were building, then we had fireside chats, networking events, a speaker series. So Ryan Hoover from Product Hunt spoke with the group. Colin Wallace, a serial entrepreneur in the food and beverage space, spoke with them also. So first one went really well. And we're actually preparing to host our next one in Lisbon, end of this month, from October 24th to the 30th. So the first one's in Brooklyn, New York, in our Brooklyn location. Now we're hosting our next one in Lisbon.
That's dope. International. Okay, all right. So a couple questions from there, right? So essentially, it sounds like an incubator, then, right? Or is that like similar?
So it's like an incubator accelerator. So the people coming to the house, some are pre-product, so they have the idea and they want to launch this, so they're coming to meet their founder and then work on that startup idea. And then others already have a company founded, and then they're just trying to accelerate growth.
Got it. And these just like people from social media, people from your network, people from school. Like it's like, how are you finding?
Get spread?
Yeah.
So we launched July 11th. Actually, 4 weeks prior to that, we came up with the idea. So everything moved extremely fast.
Got it. Okay.
So we were, we were putting it in Discords, Reddit channels, tweeting about it, reaching out to student clubs at universities throughout the nation, throughout the world. We ended up getting about 150 plus applications from in the US, in some applications in West Africa, in UK as well. And so we had a kind of a mixed demographic of people in our first cohort, someone from London, several people from the US. We also tried to get some people from Nigeria, but it was a little bit difficult with like the visa and stuff. But
got it. Are you Nigerian?
no, I'm not. So
Okay,
I'm
okay. Got it.
Mom Jamaican, dad's Black American.
Got it. Okay. All right, from the islands. So that's really dope. All right. So I guess like where'd you get the idea from? Is this like Hacker House is like popular in like the tech community, or is it something that you just like you and your brother like, hey, like it'd be dope just have all these people, work together?
So the idea itself kind of dates back to 2019. So we wanted to, so it's my brother and I who launched it. I mentioned that earlier. So we wanted to launch this kind of a social club for our community-focused social club for Black and Brown people who wanted to launch startups. We had this idea to do that, and we had a space, we wanted to build it out. But then kind of 2020 pandemic came, and that kind of hampered processes. Sorry, I have these notifications on. Fast forwarding a bit, 2020, 2021, so we were in the Web3 space for some time, but really became like very involved 2021, 2022. So for me personally, I was doing, I was like reading through lots of articles, doing lots of personal research. I was reading through Medium articles by RHause, who's co-founder of BitMEX, which is a very large centralized crypto exchange. So reading through articles by him on crypto capital markets. I was attending conferences like Harvard's Blockchain Conference, Columbia's Lionhack Conference, joined the Blockchain Club at Wharton. Really, I was trying to do as much as possible to learn as quickly as possible, because the space is moving so fast. I really wanted to learn as much as I could as quickly as possible. And at the same time, I didn't want to just be passively involved in the space. I really wanted to do something. And so that was kind of the idea of just, we still had this idea of creating this club. And then now with this new lens of we're in the Web3 space, we want to build something, we kind of pivoted a bit and thought, oh, it'd be really cool to host these hacker houses, these intentional spaces for Black and Brown people to come together, bounce ideas off of each other, and launch really cool tech-focused startups like Web3 related startups. And to give some context on Web3, I know that can be a little tricky at times. So Web3 is the next era of the internet. So initially it was Web 1. That was about 1990 to 2005-ish. Key characteristic there was kind of democratization of knowledge. So you can go to Google, you can Google something, and you're able to find information very easily. Then came Web 2, which is about 2005 to 2020. And you had apps, like social media apps, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, etc. And so key characteristic there was democratization of publishing. So now everyone can, or people around the world were able to publish content. You could post things, you could share things. Then kind of now we're in 2020 to present, now we're in Web3, next era of the internet, which is democratization of ownership. You're able to own digital assets. So example of that would be like NFTs. You can own pieces of the internet.
Got it. Okay. This might sound dumb, but I don't even know how to phrase the question. All right. So first, when you see Web 1, Web 2, are those formal terms or informal terms in the sense of
Could you Google it and would you be able to see a definition or?
Yeah, or I guess between Web 1 and Web 2, Web 2 and Web 3, is it just kind of just that's just how technology progressed, or is that a formal, that's how the internet was set up, if that makes sense?
So it's more so the latter. It's more of that's how it progressed, and it's kind of loosely I wouldn't say it's necessarily formal. It's more kind of just a way for people to describe kind of the ways that technology has been progressing throughout the years.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions,
I'm curious. I'm just like, I feel like everybody has a different definition of the like Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. Because I remember a while back watching a video on it, and they kind of focused on like one of the aspects of Web 2 they said was a implementation of like ads and whatnot, and like you mentioned, social like apps and social media and like stuff like MySpace and whatnot. And Web 3.0 was even like they kind of framed it in a privacy sort of lens, you know, where it's like, oh, even more of your privacy is going to be gone. But on top of that, there's the metaverse and, like you said, NFTs and whatnot. So it's just interesting how everybody has their little like bias and skew. So that's what I thought, you know, was interesting about your definition about the whole thing. But a lot of this stuff is new to me, so I'm learning a lot, honestly.
And you did mention earlier is like, can you Google it? You can Google it, and you can, like, if you Google like Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, you can find I guess like different definitions related to it, or different people describing it. It's not like you Google a word and you find the definition there. You can find like articles kind of helping to explain thought process around like what is Web 1, what is Web 2, what is Web 3, and kind of what that look like in each stage, and kind of how the technology has been progressing for the years.
So I guess like two questions. One, what would be all right, so in Web3, I guess, can you say like what are your thoughts, or what do you think maybe like the next revolution, you said, right? Or what do you think would be like maybe like the next big thing to come out of it, if that makes sense? Like if you're saying Web3 is going to be, you said what, more ownership, like publishing ownership, is that what you said? So I guess like what do you think that means? Like what does that mean for the everyday user, so to speak?
So Web3 is like more, yes, as you said, more kind of ownership layer, more, it's granting people the opportunity to own pieces of the internet. So there are different market sectors of Web3. There's GameFi, DeFi, infrastructure, NFTs, etc. And so, for example, if we look at GameFi, which is an emerging space, a key characteristic there. So they're in GameFi, they're Web3 games. So Web3 games have like play to earn aspect, or NFT gaming. So this play to earn aspect is where you're able to play the game and actually earn tokens that you can use to you can use that to purchase in-game assets and maybe sell that to someone else in the game, or you can own things in the game, and then you can transfer that to other games. And so this is actually still in development, but it's just, I guess that's kind of an example of kind of what it would look like to own assets in kind of, or what it means to own assets in Web3.
Okay.
I might be confusing it with I don't know if the game is called Axie Infinity, but
Yes,
played in Ghana and I think the Philippines, where they play and they earn, it takes a lot of virtual currency or in-game currency to get the equivalent of one of their dollar bills, let's say, or whatever. So I heard about that like a while ago, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's only used in not everywhere though, so I know those kind of smaller countries.
So would it be like Fortnite but with Bitcoins or something like that? Like is that the idea?
Like it's Minecraft, that's, or Animal Crossing kind of, with like a virtual, from my understanding, with virtual currency and whatnot.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So this is kind of what traditional Web2 games are trying to do, transferring into Web3. So they're trying to, so it takes about approximately 3 to 5 years to develop like high quality, engaging video games. And kind of a problem in like Web3 gaming space is a lot of the games they just have this slapped on play to earn aspect, or NFTs in the game, and the game itself is not really fun or engaging. And so when people kind of get tired of, you're really just playing this game to kind of earn money and not really playing it for the enjoyment of the game. And so gaming companies transitioning to Web3 are really focusing on creating fun, engaging games first, and then adding on or overlaying Web3 or blockchain technology, adding on the play to earn aspect, NFTs in the game as a secondary thing, but really focusing on creating like fun, engaging games first, and then you're adding on these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that sounds cool. Can you share maybe any projects that you are currently working on, or any ideas that, yeah, like pretty much any projects that you're working on, or are they still like hush hush? You don't want no one to know.
But at the moment, main focus is RHouse. That's kind of using a lot of my time.
Yeah.
So yeah, mainly like hosting the houses, partnering with other organizations to host other hacker houses, hosting founders dinners, etc. So that's kind of using a lot of my time right now. So really kind of focusing on that.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm curious. So away from the tech, and I guess more from like the people or management side, right? So I guess how has that experience been in terms of getting, you said what, a class of 13 to your crib in Brooklyn, all on separate projects but still working together? Like, how is that? Because that's like a whole separate, that's a whole thing in itself, right? Like outside of the whole tech piece. So how's that experience been with like you and your brother?
That was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Bringing together this group of people. Everyone was excited working on their different projects. It was like an information pool.
Sorry, they didn't know each other prior too, right?
Well, they didn't know each other.
Okay,
No.
yeah.
So they were coming. Yeah, they were coming from around the nation, around the world to come to RHouse and like live together with each other for 4 weeks and work on cool stuff. And so it was really awesome. People were sharing about their experiences, sharing resources, example like incubators, grant opportunities, sponsorship opportunities for projects. And so it was like an information pool. Everyone had different backgrounds, and so different experiences. They could share different resources, and so everyone was kind of bouncing these ideas off of each other. Sorry, I have my dog here too. Sharing different ideas, sharing resources, sharing their experiences, and so it was a really amazing experience, honestly.
Yeah. Any what would you say is maybe like your key things that you've learned through that experience?
Key takeaways. I think so. This was our first one.
Yeah.
And so this is our pilot program testing it out. We saw that the 4-week residency program provides a pretty good opportunity for, it's not too long where people kind of can get a little, maybe a little tired of like being in the same. Yeah, maybe a little tired of you want to say it like that.
Yeah.
And it's not too short where you're like, oh man, you wish you had more time with the people there, but it's like a perfect medium. And so you're able to, and it's a good enough time for you to actually work on something and then launch it. And so I think that was like a really important takeaway, testing our first version of like hosting a hacker house.
Yeah. I feel like it would be cool just being surrounded by, I guess, like other people in like your same field. Like imagine, like, I don't know, we just have like now other podcast people trying to like,
if we're all trying to put together the greatest podcast episode ever, something,
or something like that, you know, or just like, oh, like they're doing a podcast, like let me hop on yours or learn from you type joint, right? And you just talk about how
like the Dreamville album, how they made the Rent of the Dreamers 3, so they were all in that house for over the weekend making the music. So yeah, I get it.
Okay. So anything, so would you say, I guess, either proudest accomplishments from that? Would it just be it going successful, or is there anything else that you could say, like looking back, like, damn, like I'm really proud of that worked out?
Yeah, so they came to the Hacker House, 4 weeks, built their projects. Towards the end, we hosted a demo day where we brought together 5 VCs to judge on our demo day pitch competition. And so the founders, they pitched their projects and for an opportunity to win some money. And so we ended up investing 25K across 3 startups. Techstars actually saw what we were doing. We ended up introducing 3 of our founders to Techstars, and one of the founders in RHouse, actually Emmanuel, is a finalist in Black Ambition Prize, which is really awesome. Black Ambition Prize is this huge competition, entrepreneurial competition created by Pharrell Williams, and so it's really awesome that he's in the finals.
Hey, look at that! Look at that! Shout out to them. Yeah. Okay, no, that's really dope. So Lisbon, right? So how's that happen? Yeah, right. So like doing it in Brooklyn, where you're from, is like one thing, right? Going across the world, right, and doing the same thing is different. So how does that happen, and like what are you looking forward to in there?
So a few weeks ago, we were at NearCon, and so Near is a blockchain protocol, and so we were there. We were at NearCon in Lisbon a few weeks ago. Conference was awesome. Great, like networking opportunity. Workshops were really interesting, really engaging, and so we connected with some people there, and ended up like partnering to host the Hacker House in Lisbon. And so it's a sprint, it's a shorter one. Okay. And this one's actually going to be funded by Polygon and Lens Protocol. And so, we're excited and looking forward to this one.
That's dope. Okay. Yeah. What advice / lessons learned would you give to any founders or anybody who wants to either be part of a hacker house or host their own,
or even something like as simple as you plan this? I'm sure there are some things that happen that you didn't foresee. So even on that level, planning perspective, any advice?
Yeah, I think so. As I mentioned earlier, like when we were planning it out, everything moved super fast. So we had like 4 weeks from the idea to actually launching it and everyone moving into the house and preparing for the 4 weeks. So everything moved very fast for us. I think in terms of advice, like kind of mapping it out first, seeing, so it's the end of the program now. What does it look like? What did the founders build? Maybe it could be general. What did the founders build? How did the program go? Were there workshops, networking events, like everything listed out, end of program, what that looked like, all of your goals achieved, and then kind of walk it back from there. And then I'll give you a roadmap of what you need to do to meet that. And that's kind of what we did. And first one went pretty well, and we're excited to be hosting our next one.
Got it. Okay. All right. Anything else on the line?
That's it for me. I'm ready to get into this quote of the day.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on, any last piece of advice, any last piece of promo, maybe like you have one here you want to share to either any other founders or anyone maybe in that tech space?
I guess so we're hosting our next Hacker House in Lisbon, October 24th to the 30th. After that, we're planning on hosting our next one in Afrotech. So that's November in Austin, Texas. It's going to be hosting a 4-week residency program there. In terms of maybe some advice for founders, I think like whatever you want to build, just go for it. You can like think about it and ideate, and sometimes it can actually like lead to procrastination. I think just write out what you want to do, identify like what your goals are for there, and then just launch, just get started. As for us, like we had the idea, 4 weeks later, we ended up launching it. So had the idea, identified what we wanted to do, and just like took massive action towards it. And so that would be my advice.
Okay. Love it. Hey, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. All right. So from here, we'll transition to our quote of the day. So Edom, he has a quote for us. So once he will say that, we'll try and see who said it. If not, then we'll just give our opinion on what it is. Waiting for you, buddy.
Let's do this.
Taking care of, sorry, one last thing before we start. Taking care of 13 people for a month, though, right? That's the thing that still kind of blows my mind a little bit, right? So, did everyone get along? I have to know. Did everyone get along? For that, because to me, like, that's a long time to be, working together. And like, maybe magically everyone did get along, right? So I just imagine 13 strangers with completely, with different ideas. Was that like, right? Like, did everyone get along? I guess that's just my question.
Yeah, so I think everyone came here. They came here excited, passionate about building something,
Yeah.
like interested in this opportunity. Come to New York, like live for 4 weeks in like Bed-Stuy, which is kind of now like one of the fourth coolest neighborhood in the world.
Yeah.
So I think like they already came here excited about this opportunity, and so actually everyone really did. They formed relationships pretty quickly. We did have like events in-house, community events, bringing the community in, so people are meeting people in the community. They were like, so we had these in-house events with like mixers and dinners and artist workshops. Then we had networking events in the city that we were going to, and so there was a lot of opportunity for like bonding and relationship building. And so yeah, over the 4 weeks, I think everyone really did get along. People are still like messaging, sharing opportunities with each other now. We have a Telegram group for our first cohort. People are still dropping opportunities in there. So relationships were built quickly, and I think, I think everyone really, got along, and we're excited to be working with each other.
Got it.
That's dope.
No, that's dope. That's just a really just dope concept. So I'm happy that worked out. So sorry. Quote of the day.
All right. So the quote of the day is I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work. Might have heard this, might not have.
That was I know who said this.
No.
That was Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison.
That was Thomas Edison. Okay.
I had never heard this quote of his until like recently. So
yeah, I've heard of that. Nah, it's literally what. Remember, I told you I said this joint yesterday. I have to mess up first for me to learn, right? If I'm sitting here, I'm saying this like in reference to like I started like a new position at work probably like a month ago. So like the first literally 2 weeks of just getting trained on the position, I was just like I felt dumb for real, right? And I was like, I don't know, like terminology was completely different from what I'm doing. All the systems are completely different from what I'm used to doing. Just everything is just completely new. Even though I was like in the company for like 3 years at this point, right? Like everything is completely new. So just like getting trained from that, like it was a little frustrating that first week, right? And then like the second week, it was still kind of like frustrating because it was like, yo, like I still don't know what's going on. But then it wasn't kind of like until like week 3, kind of like when I started like, driving myself and like literally just like messing up here, messing up there, messing up there, messing up there. It felt better. I was like, all right, cool. Like now I kind of realize where I'm messing up on, what actually needs to happen, right? Like why, like the conceptual reason of why like this step goes first and second and third and so on and so forth. So it was like, yo, like I need to just hurry up instead of just sitting here like studying and trying to like get it perfect. It's like, yo, let me just hurry up, make my mistakes. After that, I'll be fine. And like now, feeling way more comfortable. So it's like,
yeah,
hurry up. And
I think that, sorry to cut you off.
No, I'm done, guys.
I was gonna say, I think that ties into like an important idea in like entrepreneurship or startup building. Like this idea of marginal improvements, like just make small improvements every single day towards like realizing your goal. I mean, you said that you were kind of like making mistakes was kind of helping you learn. Like you were making this mistake, but each time you were getting a little bit better. And so I think that's important in anything in life, but also like very important in entrepreneurship or building a startup. Making these marginal improvements towards a big goal. Over time, it will lead to a large improvement.
For sure.
Yeah, I remember relates to other conversation we had on Friday about when you mess up, having to be told the same thing over and over again. So it's to your point, piggybacking off that about making those marginal improvements each time, and like you said, you just got to go for it. If you want to build something, you just got to go for it. And even if you make the mistake, as long as you keep learning and you don't give up, and if you're really passionate or persistent about it, then 10,000 errors led to will lead to whatever. I think it took them over 1,000 tries to build the light bulb. So
Hey, shout out to Thomas Edison.
I know we've been talking for some time, but I didn't even where are you guys based? I didn't even get to ask earlier.
Oh, we're in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah,
Virginia. Okay, nice.
Yeah. So originally from New York, but located in Norfolk at this point.
Awesome. And how did you know Emmanuel?
I met Emmanuel 4 years ago at this point. I came down here to do an internship. So we were both in the local, we were both like part of like a local program, like during my internship. So I ran into him, and then pretty much we've just been cool since. So yeah, and hey, we say his story all the time. He was one of the dudes who really helped us launch the podcast because I had the idea. I literally exactly, like I told him about the idea, and I was like, yo, like I want to have an idea to start a podcast, but I was kind of scared, and he was like, yo, you got until next week to drop the first episode, and I was like, man, all right. I was like, let me just do at least one, and then from there we just been going. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
For sure. Quote of the day. Now we have dynamic duo.
End it off one more time.
Okay.
For those just tuning in, quote of the day is, I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work.
All right.
And now we have our new segment, usually a dynamic duo, as we said offline, two things that you feel go together or mean something to you in your life. Me personally, that's barbecue and honey mustard. Those are my two favorite condiments. That's all I'll ever ask for on any of my sandwiches, burgers, fries, barbecue, or honey mustard. So
okay. Dynamic duo.
I know, I'm trying to think right now too.
It's hard to beat honey mustard and barbecue. I know.
Right. So all right, I said this offline, but I'm being serious, right? Dynamic duo.
Oh man.
This is my dynamic duo is going to be Jordan Poole and Draymond Green.
Okay.
All right. So, last week or 2 weeks ago, Draymond Green decked Jordan Poole in the face, right? And Draymond, I think he got like suspended for a game, and the Warriors, they didn't fire him, right? But like 1 or 2 games after that, Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, they're playing, right? They're playing for the Warriors. So that's my duo, because if they can rough it out, if Draymond can deck them in the face, if they can fight, if they can have a whole hoopla, and then they can still play as a team, then you're fine, right? Then you're fine. I think there's a lesson in there somewhere. Right? You can go
make it.
Right? You gonna make it. You can make it through conflict, or like, I don't know. There's a lesson in there somewhere. So that's my duo, Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. There's a lesson.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, Rusty and River feels. No, let me stop. But maybe running shoes and a jump rope. So I like to exercise, and so I would always like to have maybe a pair of running shoes. I could just maybe do an in-house workout or go for a run. And jumping rope. I love to have a jump rope with me. I love jumping rope. I can do that every single day. It's an excellent full body workout. Got to get a jump rope.
That's a fact. I have one, and I never used it. So, but hey, that's a nice duo. All right. So, and then the last thing,
we ask every guest to give a song that they feel either represents, in your case, RHouse, or any song you've just been listening to lately that just been on repeat.
Fort Minor, Remember the Name.
Okay, I like that song.
It's one of my favorite songs growing up. So I used to play I used to play tennis and fence competitively. I still play tennis more recreationally now. And so, like one of my favorite players was Novak Djokovic. He went from being like a great player, #3 in the world for several years, to becoming one of the greatest of all time now. And he did this through, as I was actually mentioned earlier, like through making like marginal improvements in his game. Also like changing his diet. He became vegan or plant-based. He started practicing mindfulness, doing all of these things to improve his personal life, improve his game. And I remember kind of watching this video with Fort Minor in the background, showing like his transformation, and I was sold. That became like one of my favorite songs. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like that. That is it. Gotcha.
No, it's a good song, so I do like that. It's on my workout playlist. So.
All right. So add it to the playlist. All right. Is that everything we have for today? All right. So before we wrap it up, again, any last words? Anything you want to share? I know we want to promo. Oh, if you can give your social media for sure. Again, you're talk about Lisbon, but then if you have anything else on your mind, anything else on your heart that you want to just share to the world, now's the time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So, or in terms of social media, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is at rhouse.nyc, Twitter at rhouse, the letter R, house, house spelled out, NYC. So we're hosting our next Hacker House in Lisbon, October 24th to the 30th. It's going to be a sprint. We're partnering with an organization based in Lisbon called Web3 Labs, and then it's going to be sponsored by several organizations, Polygon, several companies, Web3 companies, Polygon, Lens Protocol, a few others. I think final thoughts. Well, first of all, thank you again so much for inviting me to come on here, talk a bit about myself, talk about RHouse and like what we're doing, what we're planning to do in the future. Final thoughts. If you're excited about building, creating, living with other builders, being a part of a community where you can like create really cool things, join Hacker House, join RHouse. Follow us like on social. Stay tuned for like future Hacker Houses, future projects that we'll be doing, founders dinners, etc. And we would love to have you a part of our community.
All right. Hey, shout out. Thank you again for joining us. This is a really dope episode. This is a really, really dope idea too. This is the first time we've had anyone, a Hacker House or anyone with this type of, or anything like this period, like on our show. So, shout out to you being the first. And I don't know, that's just like a really, really just dope concept, right? Like just bringing people together to create. Like I know that's always gonna produce something, like when you just put mad heads together like for that amount of time, it's always gonna produce something. So that's just like really great to see. And like it was already successful for the first time, right? For the first time you did it, where you saw like success and things happen. So I'm really excited to see like how this grows, like especially internationally, like so much opportunity. So really, really excited for you guys. Thank you again for having us, for having us. Thank you. Thank you again for being on the show. For those watching, make sure that you are following them on all social media platforms. Make sure that you're supporting. If you know anybody who would be interested in being part of a Hacker House, make sure you share the love, right? Everybody, like, don't be selfish. Everybody eats, right? So make sure you share the love. And finally, make sure you're following us on all platforms: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Everybody Eats Show on all those social media platforms. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. To watch all our episodes and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Like, comment, leave a rating. Credit repair class just came out on YouTube. Like, share, comment. A lot of useful information on that.
Especially winter's coming up, so you're gonna be buying Christmas gifts and you're probably gonna be running up your credit card. So you want to make sure you're doing it right, and you're not racking up debt. So make sure you're going checking out that credit class. But on that note, thank you again. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.